We don't really have any funny banter today. I don't think anything's gonna top Guantanamo Gay.
Guantanamo Gay. Oh man, I'd love to top at Guantanamo Gay. All right, welcome everybody. We are the Commcast, and we are here to give you your daily rations. We just got some, I guess, quicker, short format, small update type videos that hopefully we can actually edit and post. We're just gonna pretend like the last year didn't happen.
Quite literally.
Basically, what happened is like after we recorded the last episode, I like tripped and fell on this really important cable in the house that kind of like keeps the fabric of time together, and we just kind of ended up here. So actually, we recorded this like the day after.
Yeah, as far as we're concerned, we've been stuck in the fourth dimension for quite some time trying to figure out how to get back. So
yeah, it's rough out there, buddies. But you know, the important part is we stuck through it. We're back here, and yeah, we just got some quick news.
Some briefing.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, so today the main focus is on you know, unionizing and specifically current strikes that are happening, and you know, kind of what it represents in you know,
in the broad landscape of workers' rights.
Yeah. So in terms of ongoing ones, one of the big ones is a Kellogg's factory in Omaha, Nebraska. There's 1,400 workers that are on strike over, you know, just like general working conditions, like you know, healthcare, premium pay, vacation pay, and they're also like cutting back the money they put in for retirement and stuff. You know, they're like rolling back benefits that they were giving them originally,
yeah,
and basically saying like, hey, if you don't take these like cutbacks, then we're moving your jobs to fucking Mexico.
The classic.
Yeah. So yeah, there's 1,400 workers on strike currently.
I thought it was split up between like 3 locations, like Nebraska and then a couple others.
Yeah, there's a few of them. I can't remember where the other ones were. Like,
I don't either.
Omaha's like the big one that was happening, I think. You know, these kinds of things are really, you know, prevalent in just current large corporations and even like, you know, smaller businesses and stuff, because like they can get away with it, especially with how you know, desperate people are for jobs like at this point.
Yeah. The cereal industry is taking a small hit in sales, so their natural response is to cut from the majority of workers in order to maintain shareholder profit margins and all that. So the first thing you take away in order to keep shareholders level is the safety nets for your lowest employees, the ones furthest away from the shareholder action. So that's what they're fighting on right now with the reduced pay, extra hours, just unlivable conditions really, with how many hours they have to work a week. It's like 74 to 84 hours being reported by a lot of the employees.
Yeah. And that's like, you know, if you don't have something like a union in place like this, then you as a worker really have no choice other than to like fucking just either take it or leave and like risk not having another job. And that's like, I don't know. Hopefully this turns out well. I think it's important to kind of like talk about this and like share about it, make sure people like know about stuff like this, and make sure like, you know, make sure that it's like known that unions have like the support of like people out there. Cause like,
yeah, these 1,400 employees spread out over, I saw the list here, Heaven Hill. It was Heaven Hill in Kentucky, I believe. Yeah, Heaven Hill, Kentucky, Nebraska, and Topeka, Kansas. All have strikes in process thanks to the ridiculously long named union that I cannot remember. Where is it? It's like the the Bakers, Confectionery, Tobacco, Grain Millers International Institution or whatever.
Agricultural unions.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Thanks to unions, these
Yeah.
many employees who have been literally worked to the bone and then stripped of their meat with losing their pay and their protections, their health cares and all these other things. Thanks to unions, there's an entity that can go to these corporations and speak for this large mass of people and say, you know, our employees need these things, otherwise there's going to be like consequences for the higher ups. Yeah,
and you know, it still can be like pretty rough going for the unions that do exist now, just also because there's like not many of them all over the place, so like there's not like much more of that broader kind of network of support and stuff. But as like more and more places like gather their own unions, I guess, and like people kind of like start communicating more with that like class consciousness in view, I think they'll gain like a lot more power for like representation of their you know, of like your own, of like the working class's interests will be better represented across like all forums. And it's like, I don't know, because a lot of these places also like you'll have like these big strike events and stuff like that over, you know, the largely like egregious stuff that is like obvious and everyone can like round up around, but there's still in like a lot of these places there's still like minor labor infractions happening like all the time in terms of like wage theft and like, you know, unmarked overtime and just like a bunch of stuff like this where you know, like you don't have a very large like support network in terms of like getting retribution for those kinds of things, where it's like if you have a union there, you have like a larger ability to like make a case to something like the NLRB in order to like get retribution for that. But the NLRB as it stands is like really underfunded and like doesn't have the resources to like help absolutely everybody, and most states don't really have their own like labor relations boards and stuff like that, so it's harder to like get local support for that even. So like a lot of this is going to come down to like more people need to like form unions in their own workplaces, and we need to like we need somebody to like try to like actually increase the budget for both like national labor relations boards and like try to create some state level labor relations. But
yeah, the distribution of funds at the federal level is obviously something that's a little ridiculous, but that's a whole nother topic. Unions, especially now, the ones that do exist, have so much fighting power because so much of the labor force is now dead thanks to the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And like the tensions that the coronavirus has put on the lowest tier, I would suppose you could say, of work, like fast food, restaurant work, factory work, all these like completely miserable conditions that became like tenfold worse after a labor shortage and the whole chaos of the pandemic. What companies usually do in response to like a strike is hire temp workers. I forgot what the term for them is, but yeah. So what? Scabs. They'll hire scabs until the strike is over to keep production going. And Kellogg's is, I believe, also trying to find this method in like preparation, but it's significantly harder to do when there's 500,000 dead Americans from coronavirus alone in the past year.
Yeah.
Going up by like thousands a day.
Right.
So that.
Yeah, like as the because a lot of people are also like losing interest in working in like, you know, after so long of everyone being like, oh well, fucking if you want to get better pay, then get a better job. Like people are doing
better
that.
Jobs.
Yeah, and so like, yeah, when there is like this actual like when companies can't be so frivolent with like just who they're hiring and firing, just like because at a lot of restaurants and stuff like this, there's massive turnover, but like as that gets constricted more, they have to actually think about like, well, how do I keep employees here? And if there's like a union activity going on, they can't just like fucking fire everyone because it'll be hard. Like they actually like can't replace them as easily.
Quite literally in the fast food industry, it was like either it was such a drastic environment that like unionization wasn't even a necessary step because there was such a mass exodus of resignations, the Great Resignation in the food the food industry, that it was a matter of like either we can choose to respect these employees or we can like try to hold water as best we can, and most restaurants just did not.
Yeah, and you see like even in a lot of the like in a lot of fast food restaurants recently, like even without unions there, like they'll see all these signs with all the things. It was like, yeah, nobody's working today because
it's like even
we're not fucking working today.
At the local level, it's a matter of like, what's a manager gonna do? Like fire you?
Yeah.
If everyone's just like, yeah, we're not staying open till 2 a.m. Absolutely not. We've all been here since like 6 in the morning. We're leaving at 10.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, well.
Yeah. And that's also like one of these things where like there's a lot of like actions, like smaller actions and stuff that you can take even without like having an actual like registered union or something like that in place, where it's like if you are like a group of workers who are like concertedly trying to improve your workplace, like again with like the NLRB is horribly underfunded, and it's like you're probably not going to get like cases processed very well, but like you're in the legal right to be able to take actions like that. But yeah, there's just not like the actual infrastructure there to like to support the like workers' rights.
The Kellogg situation is mostly interesting for the fact of the threat of stop asking for more or we're going to give Mexicans your jobs.
Well, it's like, I mean, beyond even the stop asking for more, it was like they were cutting things back. They're like saying, if you don't take less, we're moving you.
Yeah, that's
shit.
very true.
It's like,
and this is like how Mexicans steal our jobs has been like the mantra of one of the mantras of against immigration for so long. It's like,
well, Mexicans aren't coming here and taking our jobs.
We're
giving them our jobs in their country. Yeah, like yeah, bringing immigrants here to add to the labor pool and stuff would add to our fucking like economic growth, but like us sending money out to other countries literally by like fucking shipping jobs out in there and shit is
it's truly this is becoming a tangent, but like it's the crabs in a bucket mentality, you know, when you're saying like, companies are hiring the illegal immigrants coming in because they can pay them less, and it's like, well, that doesn't sound like a problem of theirs. If they want to accept less pay, that's on them.
Right.
That's kind of the problem of
like
companies
part of
making
the free trade
illegal
shit. Yeah.
That's kind of on the companies to choose to fund this illegal behavior, because that's what a company is doing. They're encouraging that behavior by hiring the illegal aliens over the citizens because they can pay less. How are you going to blame them for that? And also, it's like it becomes so much more obvious when companies become so desperate that they just show their colors, and they're just like, well, we're just gonna either give you less or give the jobs to people that don't require as much.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we were also going to talk about IATSE on this, but like,
who can't relocate their jobs to Mexico?
Yeah.
The multimedia industry.
Right. Fucking Hollywood. Yeah, I mean, like, most of the IATSE situation, like, is covered by, like, the same kind of shit we talked about with Kellogg, I guess. It's just, they can't literally ship it out to a factory in Mexico this time, but, it's just the general kind of shit, asking for them to, like, settle for less. IATSE's trying to, make sure that the lower level employees actually can make, like, a livable fucking wage, they're also like fighting for paid time off and
Yeah, they're fighting for general well-being.
yeah, healthcare, just like being able to live for selling their souls out to work for fucking Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess in this case, the reaction hasn't seemed as hostile on the outside. Just they're not literally being like, fuck you, we'll just move your jobs to Mexico if you don't. But they're kind of just being like, yeah, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, they're like indifferent and just like
I was like, yeah, we'll let you know about that at some point. But like, that's kind of what people always say when they're trying to seem amicable. But they don't like actually take any action from there. So like, I guess the current situation with that is that they're just kind of on hold for it, saying like in the next few days probably, if they don't see any actions taken, then there'll be a fucking strike going on. And I guess, in that situation, I think it's amazing just the amount of like support within it that it had.
Oh yeah.
Like that's one of the craziest things to me, just
with 90% voter turnout and then like a 98% vote to strike.
Yeah, like 90% voter turnout on its own is fucking insane for like anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then 98% like support
we're done with this shit.
For the strike is like basically as unanimous as you can fucking get.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's like, I don't know. And I think that should show that this isn't just like fucking, some random people just like getting riled up and trying to like make a shit show. It's like everyone who is involved in this is fucking fed up with it,
Yeah, if that strike happens, that's a lot of money just stopped from circulating.
Yeah. And that's like, I don't know. Also, I guess in relation to that kind of thing, it's like every time one of these like strikes pops up and stuff, there'll be I know when like Amazon strikes were happening like at different warehouses, like on social media and stuff, there's always like a whole bunch of these rounds of like boycott this, like cancel all your subscriptions, do this, and then like the actual unions will come out and be like, hey,
we still need that.
That's gonna like hurt our bargaining power here. Like, we want to show that like you working with us isn't going to like fucking cripple your funds and shit. But like, I don't know. As of currently, I don't believe IATSE's made like a too hard line of an official statement on that. I believe they're currently just still standing at like, don't fucking cancel all your shit yet. But like, yeah. So like, I don't know. I've seen some stuff popping up on social media about that, but you don't have to cancel all your fucking subscriptions just yet. Check in on the actual like IATSE pages and stuff, and if they actually call for something like that, then that's something you can think about. But yeah. So in short, unions are good. Wherever you work, I think it's important to talk with your coworkers about working conditions. Have that conversation with each other. Find out like as much of an uncomfortable topic, or like, I don't know, it's been so ingrained in like our brains at this point, like don't talk about how much you make at work, don't do all this shit. But that's like that's a really important thing to do, just to like find out who's getting shafted, and like how like talk to each other about this, because you all need to like find out what grievances you have in common and like what you can improve by coming together on those specific issues. And like on the point of like discussing wages and stuff, it is like actually illegal for your employer to tell you that you cannot discuss wage. Like if you're talking about how much you make at work and someone like tells you to stop doing that, or like threatens your job for talking about that, that is illegal. Like that counts as like a concerted action.
If you ever received like a mark or like some sort of permanent documentation for it, that is certainly evidence in your case.
Yeah. But yeah, it's important to talk about these things, and if you find that there's like enough support for like a broad enough like amount of grievances and stuff that like you can gather a group on, like it's important to like start group chats, hang out outside of work, talk about conditions there, and then like start to talk about like ways you can improve that. Because we need like these broad coalitions of like working class people and just like the labor force in general. I think that's like the most effective route forward towards like socialism in the modern era at this point. Like, because ultimately the goal is democracy in the workplace, and outside of like, you know, having the capital to just start your own worker co-op, unions are like the most direct path towards that. You know, outside of electoralism, this is like the best. Like unionizing is probably the best like direct action we have in this circumstance.
Yeah. So we'll call that a wrap up to our first ration.
Yeah. Are you feeling filled? I'm feeling fueled.
I'm feeling filled and fueled.
Yeah.
I've filled the feels. I feel the fuel in my gas tank. I'm ready to start hammering at the mine.
Absolutely.
Get back to my hard physical labor in the coal mines.
Yes.
Working for the bare minimum possible.
I can't wait to die of leukemia at a young age. Well, yeah. Thank you for tuning in to this experimental daily ration program, which is a podcast that we didn't have enough topics for.
That's right. 9 months and we come back with half of a podcast.
No, it's been like 23 hours in our time-space rift. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. This will happen daily on our time,
which is every 9 months on Earth.
Yeah. So tune in next time.
Yes, next time, which will be.
We don't need to tell them when it'll be. We know the future, but we can't spoil it because it'll fuck with the space-time continuum.
Spoiler alert, the next daily episode is not tomorrow.